Hey, so today I will be explaining how I made these golden candle holders for the short film Philippa in 2024. And basically these are actually wood that I painted gold. So what you'll need if you want to make these table legs that you've gotten from a hardware store, so you can literally buy ready-made just loose table legs of any height, any width, a paint color of your choice, and then a drill, but you also need a specific drill bit for it. So it's called a paddle drill bit or a spade drill bit. Specifically the number 21, it's 20 millimeters in width. And the reason for that is because most taper candles or even the LED taper candles are 20 millimeters in diameter. Not necessarily on the dot. I have noticed that some of them are like a little bit bigger and some a little bit smaller, so some you have to like really squash in there and some is like a little bit loose, but in general that size is what worked for me. Pretty straightforward. So you take your table leg, you flip it upside down, so the part that would have been attached to the table, that's gonna be at the bottom because that's like the biggest part, so it'll obviously you want that at the bottom. It's a base. Because obviously you don't want the big part at the top because then it's not going to be very stable. So big part at the bottom and then the round part, which is supposed to be like the bottom of the table leg. There's where you're going to drill the hole with the paddle drill bit. And it doesn't have to be super deep. I think mine were like 2 centimeters deep, because obviously you also want the taper candle to stand out. Now that I've explained how to make it, I also just want to go into like pros and cons of this. After you've drilled the hole, you can then go ahead and paint it any color that you'd like. Obviously we were going for gold, so we painted it gold, and I'd say it looked really cool, especially on camera. And if you get different sizes table legs, then that makes it really like interesting to look at because you have candles at different heights and it's not all just like the same height. So yeah, if you can play around with height as well, that's really fun because you get those small table legs that's not really for a table, it's more like for a dresser or something, those ones, and then you get like the big table legs that are actually for a table. I'll be telling a little bit of a backstory. We were specifically looking for golden candelabras, but at the time I couldn't really find candelabras for cheap, and we were in a position where we couldn't rent it, we needed to buy it because of policies and stuff to do with my institution that I was studying at. Unfortunately, I couldn't find cheap ones, so I had this idea to use the table legs. So I think if I remember correctly, they were like 60 Rand per table leg at the time. This was in 2024, so keep that in mind. And so it was a lot cheaper than having to buy candelabras. Although I will say later years, like I think at the end of 2025, around there, I did actually see golden candelabras for cheaper than I could find in 2024. So I don't know what happened there, why it was so expensive in 2024, and then all of a sudden in 2025 when I didn't need it anymore, I saw quite a few for way cheaper. So but anyway. But also what is fun about this is, like I said, you can really play with heights. But what I think looks really cool with the table legs, because they're so high, is that you could kind of put it like anywhere on the floor. It doesn't really need to be on a table or on like a side table or something. So that was fun. You could put it like all around the room, on the floor, and it kind of looked really yeah, beautiful. So con, I would say, is the fact that the wood is actually very light. so it actually knocks over pretty easily, which obviously if you have open flames, that's kind of dangerous. So I would recommend having those LED taper candles, just for safety. I hope you have fun.